I have never sinned. This is an answer that I give to people oftentimes when they ask me the question, have you ever sinned? Do you sin? And the answer is always no, I've never sinned. Now, before you click off this video, please let me explain. You must first be able to define what a sin is. Now, immediately a person is thinking right now that if you lie, if you steal, if you kill, then you are sinning. If you commit adultery, then you are sinning. Well, those are not actually sins. Those are violations of the subjective morality that the overwhelming majority of the population, whether they believe in your God or their God or no God, agree with. In most societies around the world and through history, those are objectionable in order to exist in a society. But in order for me to sin, I have to have the subjective belief in your God. And yes, your belief is subjective because you believe in the God of the Bible. This person believes in the God of the Quran. This person believes in the God of the Upanishads or the Vedics. This person believes in the God of Ifa, of nature. This person believes in whatever God, the Norse gods. So if a person who believes in the Norse gods, commits what is a sin to the God of the Bible, but it is not a sin to the God of the Norse, to the God of the Norse God, did they commit a sin? No. If they commit a sin against the Norse God, but do not commit a sin against the biblical God, but they believe in the Norse gods, did they commit a sin? Yes, because their sin was against the God by which they believe in, subjective belief. So for a person who does not believe in your gods, it is an impossibility for said person to sin. So, have I done things in my life that society would subjectively say is immoral and that I would agree is immoral? Yes. Have I ever told a lie? Yes, I told lies up until the 6th or 7th grade. I got caught in a massive lie. Haven't lied since. Do I always tell everybody the whole truth? No. But I'll tell you the truth up until a point. So, have I sinned against your God? Absolutely not. I don't believe in your God. Have I ever committed adultery? Yes, I have. Shamefully, I have. Is it a sin to your God? It is a sin to your God. Do I believe in your God? No, I do not believe in your God. Have I committed a sin? No, I have not. Because my subjectivity, as far as belief is concerned, is that your God doesn't exist. So since your God doesn't exist, then I cannot sin because I'm not doing anything that violates your God. And that is truly what sin is. Sin is a violation of the orders of the morality of the God. Me not worshiping your God is considered a sin. But that is only because you believe in that God. I do not. While you are sinning, while you believe that you are not sinning by believing in the God of the Bible, you are sinning against the God of the Quran. You are sinning against the Norse gods. You are sinning against the Ifa gods. You are sinning against all the rest of the 4,200 gods that people currently believe in. You are sinning against those gods. When was the last time you made offerings to the Orishas? If you are a Christian, the answer is probably never. The answer would be that that's witchcraft, that is devil worship, that's demonic. Well, as far as the belief of following the Orishas and believing in the Orishas, you have committed a sin against the Orishas. And Christians often like to say that, well, if I believe in Jesus, Pascal's way too, you know where I'm going. If I believe in Jesus and I'm right, then I gain heaven. If I believe in Jesus and I'm wrong, and Jesus don't exist, then I lose nothing. That only works if you're talking to an atheist. If you believe in Jesus and you're wrong, and the Orishas are true, you have sinned against them your entire life. If the Norse gods are true, you sinned against them your entire life. If the Vedics and Upanishads are true, you have sinned against Brahma your entire life. If the Quran is true, you have sinned against Allah your entire life. So therefore, Pascal's wager only work in that sense. And sin also only works in that sense. So to answer the question again that somebody had commented on one of my other videos, no. Well, these are multiple people. No, we are not born into sin. We are not born sinners. And yes, I am sinless. Just as you may possibly be sinless because you don't believe in any of those gods. And sin is subjective in the same way that belief is subjective. Now, what we do is that we violate moral code that we have agreed upon in order to live in a society. That is the violation that most of us make in our lives. But that does not hold us to a punishment of an eternal lake of fire. What that holds us to is the punishment of man. And that's dependent upon where you are, what society you live in. There are things I can do in America that I cannot do in other countries. And there are things that I can do in other countries that I cannot do in America. So depending upon where those things are done, determine whether or not I have violated the moral code of whatever the action is that I've done. So morals are subjective. Society is subjective. Your belief is subjective. And so sin is subjective as well. I hope that helps free some of you guys from the struggle and stress that you have when concerned with sin and being still emotionally attached to a religion, because it's freedom to be able to walk away from a religion. It's freedom to be able to breathe and live your life as you choose. Because sin is often used to condemn people for choices of life and lifestyles. If a man decides to have multiple wives, depending upon what society they're in, they are either applauded or condemned. If women choose to have multiple husbands, in most societies, they're going to be condemned. If two men decide that they want to love each other, if two women decide that they want to love each other, they are oftentimes condemned in most societies because these societies will say to them, actually, I can't say that's for most societies, but some societies determine that this is immoral based on their religious stance. Some decide that it's immoral based on their political stance. But all in all, if you are living in a society where it is not condemned, what sin have you committed? Absolutely none. You have not violated the moral code of that society, and you have not violated the religious code of that society if they do not believe in it or they don't rule based on that. So when I do these videos, when I deconstruct Christianity, it is not to attack Christians. It is not to attack individuals. It is to attack the belief system, the idea, the theology, the way it impacts our lives on a daily basis. It is to allow people to have their freedom to live their life and not be uh, looked down upon, mistreated, misrepresented in society, treated unfairly in society, simply because how they live their life, rather, is a choice that does not affect anyone else but them. If two men were living together next door to me, it doesn't affect my house. They might be great people. They may have talents that I don't have, like mechanical talents that I may need. They may be more of a benefit to me than a hindrance. So, are they violating any laws? No. Are they violating any types of religious thing? Sure, depending upon the religion. But since I don't have one, they violate nothing. They live their life as long as they're happy. And that's what people should be able to do. Live their life and be happy, as long as they're not violating anyone else's ability to live their lives and be happy. That's why we have the moral codes of do not murder, do not steal, do not covet. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.